So, what the hell is hybrid? If 18 months ago someone would have told you that everything you're confident about in your future Congress would change, that we would not be able to freely fly, meet face to face, have people from all over the world learning together in the same room, you would say he or she are crazy. Yet, here we are, meeting virtually and planning the future. This too will pass, and we will be able to meet again. But the big question is whether we would continue just the same. We are now experiencing an opportunity to change the paradigm. International large meetings will not continue where we stopped, and we must learn the new rules of the game. In fact, it is not only a game, it's a whole new playground with lots of new opportunities and rules that we do not know yet. One thing I can tell you for sure, it is not a linear evolution of what we know, it is a quantum leap. I want to start by demonstrating the essence of hybrid in a very high-end hybrid event, 2021 Super Bowl. Here are some numbers. In the field itself, there were 25,000 live viewers sitting in social distancing. The capacity of the stadium is actually 65,000. 96.4 million people viewed it remotely on TV, streaming services, and mobile phone apps. The Super Bowl had 7.5 million social media mentions. Almost 450 million were spent on commercials during the game, and it definitely influenced what Americans bought in the next day. So here is the question: where did the event happen? The stadium in Tampa, Arizona, where the audience were largely represented by faces cutouts? In the choice of the cameraman of what angle to shoot? It also happened in the editing room of the TV channels. The editors chose which angles of the game to show, replay, close-ups. And it happens in the TV studios, while the commentators explain the game and share their views. Super Bowl 2021. The game is happening in the stadium, but where the event is happening? The answer is everywhere, and in multi-dimensions. Where is everywhere? Social media, TV, in the street, local pubs, at home, on TikTok challenge, and even on Fortnite. So here is our first hybrid playground rule. The event is happening everywhere and in multi-dimension. Multi-dimension is that the event is happening in multi-locations and in a few time zones, instead of one location and one time zone. The ripple effect can make an exponential growth in influence. If you take one sentence from my presentation today, it should be: hybrid is about meeting your audience wherever they are. Before COVID, you met on your terms, in the location and on the days that the association chose. Coming to the Congress Center is not a prerequisite anymore. My name is Inbar. I am a consultant to associations and a Congress organizer for over 20 years. I have lots of experience. I worked with over 60 associations and managed more than 170 association congresses. In the past 7 years, I'm a consultant, and I'm proud that my specialty is to lead association through change. This month, I was requested to present in 2 different association board meetings a complete plan for a hybrid event for 2022. Not an easy task. In order to move the wheels of our industry in motion, we need to work together. So I decided to create this conference. I am sure you're all facing the same challenge. Looking into the future and presenting plans to our boards in a changing landscape, answering questions like budget, how to work with the venue and suppliers, risk management, how to communicate to audience, to sponsors and exhibitors, how much to charge for registration fees in a hybrid model, which technology to use, and most important, how the hybrid model influences the scientific program. How can we work with so many unknown variables in the equation? I decided to strip down everything I knew about congresses and get back to the essence. Why we, associations, exist. What is the value that we create to our audience? The essence, driving science and knowledge forward and facilitating interactions within our audience. This is our core value. The key for me is to look at our audience, not what we wish to give them, but what they wish to consume. What is the user experience they need? User experience is such a powerful tool. What our role is as educators and what it means in the era we live in, the 21st century, post-COVID, the generation we are educating, who holds the knowledge, and first and foremost, how people learn. What is the hybrid product? The hybrid product includes two separate experiences, on-site and online participation. Both on-site and online participants enjoy the full experience, not necessarily an equal experience, but a complementary one. Both on-site and online participants enjoy the full and coherent learning experience. Online participation does not necessarily need to provide access to all the sessions or all the benefits, but the online program needs to make sense as a standalone learning experience. It's all about extending our reach, reaching to people everywhere, creating new opportunities for people to learn, extending the ripple effect. One and one can actually be larger than two. There are 5 pillars to creating a hybrid event. The first is flexibility, working with a few budget scenarios, flexible contract with Congress centers, and hedging the risk. It's not easy, but it's doable. The second is the Congress program. Working with the program committee, create a program that gives value to online and on-site participants. The third is creating synergy and engagement between the on-site and online participants, facilitating quality interactions, allowing them to meet, exchange ideas, and learn from each other, no matter if they are in the Congress Center or their office. The fourth is about choosing technology that enhances the experience both online and on-site, technology that amplifies the personal learning experience. And last, making sure that we give good value and exposure to sponsors and exhibitors in a hybrid model, supporting them in reaching the audience everywhere. This 2-day conference is revolving around these pillars, and I wish to start by emphasizing 2. Let's start with the Congress program. I am not telling you anything new when I'm saying that most of our scientific committees are following the same program structure, from Congress to Congress. Topics and speakers may be new, but the structure of the program is static. Usually, the viewpoint is what we think is important, and not how the audience wish to consume it. Having long presentations on stage with passive audience is a bit outdated. It may still work in a session room where the lights are off and you have no distractions, but it is not working for remote audience. I was exposed to many association statistics over the last year and analyzed the participation patterns in virtual congresses. The results are very strong and indicating how people consume knowledge online. People getting in and out of session rooms with a click of a mouse, which helps us measure their behaviors in ways we could not do before. Participants do not sit and listen to long presentations unless they know what they will be getting out of it. They prefer shorter learning modules and clear learning outcomes, live discussions, and interactivity. They are voting with their mouse. For me, this is the main challenge of a hybrid event: transform the Congress content to the way people wish to consume it online. You know, until now, I rarely influence the program committee work. The work on the virtual and hybrid models gave me an opportunity to talk about how audience learn. So I took the program structure as it was and presented a 10-page document about how we can adapt each of our session models to be more interactive, directed toward education, and with clear learning outcomes. I also showed them how to convert the program from being linear to being multi-layered. A speaker can give a session in the hall and then be interviewed in a TV studio or interact with participants in the networking lounge, both the virtual and physical one. There are many examples. I'm also dedicating a lot of efforts to work with the session moderators. They are not only there to introduce the speaker, they can influence the session and make it great by working with the speakers, making sure that each of them is presenting a different angle of the topic, and there is ample time for discussion. And the discussion needs to be prepared by the moderator, not only random questions by the audience. I want to tell you a story. Hotels have recently opened, and 2 weeks ago I went away for a weekend with my family. On the way, a lady from the hotel called us. I thought there was a problem with the booking. She asked me, "Mrs. Caspi, how do you like your pillow?" I didn't understand at first. What was she asking? How do I like my pillow? You know, many hotels have this pillow menu next to the bed. Most of the time you notice it when you're in your pajamas, ready to sleep. Too late to call housekeeping and discuss pillows. But this hotel made the extra mile. They called me, so my favorite pillow could wait for me on the bed. They actually cared about the quality of my sleep, and I'm grateful for this extra effort to make my stay personal. You know, Netflix and other streaming channels ended the era of linear TV. Remember that we had to wait for a full week to see the next episode of our favorite show? Now we can binge. In fact, my Netflix homepage knows me better than I know myself. It offers only the things I love. It learned my preferences, and I love it. I want to give you another example about personal learning experience. There is a nice company I just came to know, Echo, who is creating interactive learning videos that adapt to the audience preferences in real time. They are creating a personal learning experience that is completely directed by the audience. They make education come to life. Look how this chef is customizing the recipe, checking what I like. Who am I eating with? What is the season? Which ingredients I have in my fridge? It is almost like a private tutorial in my kitchen. And take that, Jamie Oliver is one of the chefs. How did they do that? They mapped all the possible learning patterns that I, as the learner, can take and created a tutorial that fits every preference. It doesn't really matter if you teach cooking or neurology. You can still map the personal learning needs of the audience. Imagine that we could know our audience better, customize their learning experience. I guarantee it will keep them motivated and increase their loyalty to us. This is the kind of approach I'm seeking in technology. I'm not looking for a virtual platform with moving avatars that walk in virtual halls. It is a nice feature to have, but it is not enhancing the learning experience. I care about two things in technology: personalizing the learning experience and 360 degrees of interactions and engagement. In my story, content is king, technology is queen, and they live happily ever after. I gave you here such a small taste of what is possible in enhancing the learning experience and making it personal. There is so much more. So we talked about a very important pillar, influencing the program. And now I want to talk about something that is just as important, synergy. Our role as association is to bring our community together. And in this reality, where the community is not necessarily physically in one place, it is really important that we facilitate engagements and enable communication tools among our audience. What is this synergy? Let's go back to the Super Bowl example. 96 million viewers and only 25,000 lucky ones were actually in the field. How do you think they affected each other? People at home had a better viewing experience. Their chair was more comfortable, the beer was colder. They had close-ups and repeats on all the important moments. The commentators were explaining the game, and still, their viewing experience would not be the same if the field was empty. No crowd, only the players. It is the breath of the live event, the audience roar, the electric atmosphere in the field, and the way the camera is taking the audience that is amplifying the experience for the remote viewers, and vice versa. Do you think that the audience on site doesn't hear the roar of 96 million who are viewing remotely? Why do you think that a ticket to the seat in the field is so coveted? Corona accelerated the perception that work and learning can happen everywhere. In the past year, we continued learning, developing professionally, researching, publishing, etc. We met our audience where they are. Before COVID, traveling to our congresses was a prerequisite. So to summarize, synergy, introducing digital interactions into the flow of our physical meetings and vice versa, allowing remote participants to enjoy the on-site physical happenings is the key to a successful hybrid event. Our role is to encourage our audience to be contributors, no matter how they consume the Congress. We talked about the program, and we talked about synergy. And we will continue to unfold all the pillars of a successful hybrid event, give operational examples, and take them from theory to action. My aim for this presentation was not to give you practical tools, but to open the view on what is possible today through the eyes of tomorrow. I shared with you the first hybrid playground rule. It is a learning experience that is crossing time and space boundaries, and it's not a linear experience, it is multi-layered. And before I finish my presentation, I wish to share with you the second hybrid playground rule. To put our focus on the audience, what they feel, their sensation when they participate. We want to evoke a sense of discovery, curiosity, feeling that they are part of a learning community, and of course, fun. Designing a hybrid event is being an educator, psychiatrist, and architect, personalizing the user experience and understanding what will answer their needs. There are huge opportunities for us in this new playground, a ripple effect that can make exponential growth in our influence. I'm inviting you to look at what is possible today through the eyes of tomorrow. 1 + 1 can actually be larger than 2.